Welcome back, everyone, to Legal Briefs on CP24, simulcast nationally on Court TV Canada. I'm Lorne Honickman. I'm here with Dave Parkinson from the Canadian Coalition Against the Death Penalty. We're talking about the death penalty tonight because, in case you don't know or you're just joining us, Stanley Tookie Williams in California is scheduled to die by lethal injection at 12:01 a.m. That is a live shot in front of San Quentin Prison. He was asking a petition for executive clemency to Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger failed today, and he will be put to death unless the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, reverses that, which, of course, it's hard to say. Some people say it's not likely. One of the interesting things, just give you a few statistics here so people understand in this country. People were killed by the death penalty in Canada for a long time. Between 1867 and 1962, 710 executions took place in this country. Unbelievable. This take place in downtown streets of Toronto. The last hanging was on December 11th, 1962. 2 men were hanged in Toronto. That was it. The death penalty was officially taken off the books in 1976, and that's when our law changed to life in prison. A lot of people, obviously, it raises a lot of emotion. Let's go to the phones. Start in Montreal. Roy, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Well, I support the death penalty, and, you know, and I find it somewhat arrogant that the politicians have decided to take away the majority's right to decide that issue. There are some people in our society who are truly evil, and we cannot let them out of prison. And in this country, we have a lot of do-gooders and liberals who let everyone out of prison, no matter what the crime is. You know, I mean, I don't think Mr. Olson or Mr. Bernardo will actually leave, but there will be some among the John Howard Society who want them to get out of jail.
But what is it that you feel, Roy, of why you want the death penalty? Is it strictly a punitive feeling? Is it like an eye for an eye, they did something terrible?
These murderers in prison kill other people. The only way to stop them from killing, because some of these people are just predators, is to kill them.
And
put them to death for the safety of others. And I find it unbelievably arrogant that a liberal government, which has much less than 50% of the support of the electorate, has the audacity to deny the will of 50% of the population.
All right, Roy, appreciate your call. Right now, though, it's not just the Liberals, is it? I don't think... I haven't heard Stephen Harper mention... we haven't heard this at all come up.
When there was a bill brought up in the 1980s, Conservative Prime Minister Brian Mulroney was adamantly against reinstatement of capital punishment in Canada.
Right.
Former Reform leader Preston Manning has made public comments to the same effect that he is against the death penalty, although he did support a referendum on the issue. He personally was against it himself.
Right.
So it's not an issue of liberal or conservative values. I mean, it could go either way. In the States, there were many Republicans.
But Roy is probably, I mean, we're going to hear a lot of calls, but I think Roy is probably speaking a lot from the gut of what a lot of people feel.
Well, the thing is, with the criminal justice system, Roy's correct. There are a lot of inadequacies in the way prisoners are dealt with now. Many people have accused the Liberal government and other previous governments of having a revolving door prison system, and these are the issues that need to be addressed. If as much energy that is being spent focusing on a return to capital punishment was actually focusing on some of these issues about early release, about who actually is eligible for parole, we could get a lot further in addressing these issues than simply returning to the old rhetoric of capital punishment. Because you can kill as many people as you want, there will be more murderers coming along. And until we learn...
Well, that's the deterrent aspect that you're talking about, the severity of punishment. Avid viewers of Legal Briefs, there may be one or two out there, hopefully more, will know that I always speak about that all the time, that the research shows that it doesn't act as a deterrent. But I think, again, from the gut, people feel it does go that way. Roy, thank you for your call. Let's go to Mississauga. Mary, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead. You're on the air. Hi.
About 25 years ago, my husband's son, 11-month-old baby, was murdered, and when he got life, it was life with parole of 25 years. And both of us being against the death penalty, we don't understand why life should not be life.
Right.
And I was wondering if your guest could comment on that, how some people get out even 10 years after they were sentenced to life.
So just so we're clear, so people understand, if I understand what you're saying, you didn't feel that this person should die.
No.
But you did want this person to get life and never come out of prison.
Exactly.
Right. And I think Mary points to a part of our justice system, the parole, the eligibility of parole. Life does not mean life. It could mean life. Remember, it's just eligibility for parole.
Yeah.
Not everybody will get parole after their eligibility time.
Yeah.
But certainly from a sentencing point of view, there is a huge difference between us and the United States, what life really means.
No, certainly. And again, the arbitrary nature of who gets life without parole and who gets life with parole, I mean, the same arbitrary nature would apply to the death penalty and who got a death sentence and who didn't. I mean, in the United States, sure, there are many repeat offenders, serial killers, pedophiles, what have you, on death row. There are dozens more in general population, some with consecutive sentences, some with release dates.
Right.
And another problem with the system in the United States is in many states, life does not mean life without parole. It's life with parole. And I believe the state of Texas just recently put in it wasn't life without parole, it's a 40-year sentence now as opposed to
40
20
years, but that wouldn't be happening in Canada. Mary, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Let me ask you something, because so many people will be talking about a gut feeling and the eye for an eye. How was it, if I may ask, that you didn't want this person to die?
Because basically we feel that as Christians or as any religion, it is just part of the nature, thou shalt not kill.
Right.
And to both of us, it's an eye for an eye. It's archaic. There's basically, I believe, just the United States and Canada that is still on the death. I mean, the United States and China.
Right.
Thousands are killed in China all the time. It seems archaic. I thought as human beings we would have progressed emotionally, intellectually, to a point where we realize that thou shalt not kill means exactly that.
Well, Mary, we really appreciate you calling. Thank you for sharing that. And the interesting part, of course, is that when you listen to someone like Mary who's gone through it, I'm certain that there are others who may have a different feeling about that, but yet there is that frustration part. With respect to the sentence that this person will be coming up for parole, that anybody who actually murders could walk out of prison one day. Notwithstanding, there may be very good reasons why they should. Again, it just sometimes doesn't sit right.
No, that's understandable, but if a sentence was to mean life without parole, that should be closure right there. And as I said, in the United States, there are many states where they don't have life without parole.
Right.
It's either life with parole or death. And in many instances, that's why they end up getting a death sentence, because the concern is there that there may be the possibility of release at some future date.
All right, we got to go to a break here. Everybody on the line, stay where you are. We'll get to your calls when we come back. Don't go away.